Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM. We're streaming live on the web at WLCNonline.com. You can follow us on Twitter at WLCN Sports and on Facebook. Good morning. Scott Kirby, Jake Johnston, Lloyd Kirby, Jim Ash with you this morning. Coach Alexander with us this morning, and we are at the grand opening of the Hangar on the Square and Witz End. The Hangar Thrift Store and Witz End Boutique. Doors just opened. Had a ribbon cutting ceremony, Jake, outside just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
The doors are open and open for business.
They've done a nice job on the old building here, getting it all ready to go and getting it all organized. So it looks good in here. New thrift store here in downtown Lincoln. Always, you know, whenever Mission Mart was here, it always seems like this was kind of a staple where people would congregate, you know, kind of walk through and check everything out, and it's good to see it back in here, and looks great. They set it up beautifully.
Yep, they've got a lot of stuff here. If you need anything, kids' clothes, men's clothes, women's clothes, shoes, everything. Well, let's get to Coach Alexander this morning. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Just morning. It's not really good. No. It's just it's one of those days that we live year in, year out. Just like that, basketball season's over. With Blackburn losing last Saturday in the tournament championship, and then Illinois losing in the Big Ten tournament early Wednesday against Iowa, and then Lincoln, we go down to Rochester last night for a regional championship, and we lose to Lanphier 33-19, and just like that, nothing to do, nothing to prepare for. Kind of bittersweet, you know. It's a long season. You know, you guys get started back in November. And it's a grind for a few months. And, Coach, last night the kids went to Rochester for a regional championship. Just never really could get our offense going. I thought defensively, you know, we played pretty solid. 11-11 at halftime. We come out after half, and it just seemed that we couldn't get a look on an open shot. Now, I guess credit Lanphier's defense. They had really good closeout defense on us where we didn't get a clean shot, and we just couldn't really find our offense last night.
No, you know, and it was a hard one to swallow. You know, we got them to basically we got them away from what they do. They have over the years of full court press, denied, man-to-man, run and jump, 2-2-1 full court, 1-2-2 full court. And, you know, last night they dropped back in and played a matchup zone that and they were really long. You know, they really covered a lot of ground, and they were quick, and we couldn't find any shots. And, you know, it's really frustrating from my side that, you know, we couldn't find our guys' shots, but give them credit. They were really, really good defensively. Again, our defense was really, really good as well, but, you know, it comes to a point to where, you still have to score baskets to win.
Coach, they're of course, Lanphier is almost always athletic, and did that and their speed and not being able to see them a few times a year, did that, you think that have anything to do with it, you know?
I don't think so. They were just good. You know, they really just packed it in, and they're athletic enough, and you know, their wings were 6'5" and long, and you know, they had Carl Wright sitting back in the middle at 6'6", and you know, they were just you know, they made enough shots to, once they got ahead of us, it became hard because we were struggling to find shots, and the shots that we did find, we didn't cash in on, and you know, they made everything, even going to the basket, they made things a challenge for us. And it's not that give them the credit. They really played well. Don't take anything away from our kids. I'm really, really proud of them, and you know, for they've set a mark that will be at Lincoln for a long, long time, and that's our team defense, and we dropped that from the record of 38.4, I think, down to 34 something, and we held our own on our average, our defensive average last night. We just didn't score any points.
Yeah, whenever you look at a score and you see Lincoln, they held Lanford to 33 points. Well, you think, well, Lincoln pretty good chance to win that. We don't score 19. We come out third quarter, and like I said, you got to credit their defense. We couldn't score in the third, and that's just I don't know. It's just didn't have any open looks, I guess. But the kids played hard. There was fatigue a little factor. I mean, Lanford's speed and quickness will make a team look about a step slow. But it's just
no. They were they just. They were just good. We had shots. We had a few open looks, and they came out in the second half with a little more hop in their step, and we didn't match it in the second half. And again, once they got, they scored the first 4 points, and it went to 15 to 11, and then we had a couple incidents where we held. We had a couple opportunities, and then they come down and hit a 3 and went up 18 to 11, and then that's when the pressure really started to mount for the kids, and these kids wanted to win so bad that you add that to it, and the pressure that you have, it really makes things really tough because they want to do so well.
With having 5 seniors on the court, does that add a little more pressure where they know that they have to make something happen here or their season's done, whereas, you don't have any, I guess, younger classmen out there to maybe settle down a little bit. It's a different role than they had last year with, being juniors and, only a couple seniors on the team last year. They knew, they had another year, so there wasn't a whole lot of pressure. But last night it was down to the nitty-gritty. You lose, you go home.
Yeah, it's that way for every senior, but you can't let that be a factor in your game. If you do, it becomes very hard. But, when you get down to the last 3 or 4 minutes and you look up and the score's what it is, then you start thinking about it. It hits home. And, I said it last night on the air with Jeff that high school is such a short period of your life, and it just flies by, and before you know it, you're 21. Before your next step, you're 24, 25, then you're 35, and before long, you're 50 years old. And
keep going.
I quit there. Then you're 64, and then you become, and that's where I'm at now. Is the seniors have 4 years, and we talk about it when the year starts. You got 4 years, and it'll be over before you know it. And through the years of coaching and things and so forth, as a coach, you always know. I got many years left, but for me, I'm getting down to where you never know that maybe I coached my last game. I don't know. You never know what health brings. You never know what anything does, and it becomes. I'm starting to feel like and know how I feel or the kids feel when they get down to finishing, because I'm to the point to where I don't know when that's my last game, and I sure don't want it to be. I still enjoy it. I still burn when we lose, and when we win, it's just still. I still have that burning desire for kids to succeed and do things, and but you never know.
Well, we have this conversation every year, after the final season of a game, and it doesn't get any easier. It doesn't make things, you don't take a loss any easier than it did the year before. It's just the nature, the competitive nature that, you have, and next year we'll do it again, and unless we go undefeated all year and win that state championship, you're always going to have that next interview that's going to be after a loss, and just lets the air out of everything, and you take a deep breath. It's going to take a week or two for it to sink in, but then get back to work. And the seniors, you know, they're going to move on and do their thing. You know, they've got graduation coming up here and a couple of months.
Well, we're down.
It's already March.
I think maybe next Friday's the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Another school year just about gone. The weather's starting to change. The spring sports have started. Kids are outside and
seeing Easter basket already.
Yeah,
I was say all those seniors about ready to put in a cruise control and glide into.
Yeah.
Well, don't start saying that.
They checked out. Well, Coach,
but it's you know, I do want to say some things, you know, to Titus and Isaiah and Drew.
They had some good railers.
And Tate, those 5 kids really laid it out on the line all year. You know, it was a senior-dominated team, and those kids put in a lot of work, and it's hard to see them go. You know, they've been a great joy to coach for 5 years. They've put effort in 5 years, 4 years. But you watch them kids grow from being a little freshman to where they are today, and you know, we always talk to them after our loss, and you know, they will be successful. They work hard, they listen, they're classy kids, and they just fit the Railer mold that we have, and we want our kids to be good kids. And I told them, you know, and even Jeff last night, that you know, my goal is to make them, number one is to be a good person. I think being a good person takes you places in life, and you know, you're very successful and you're respectful, and these kids are all of that. And I can't say enough about how hard they work. And from a coaching standpoint, it's really sad when you have to tell them that thank you and good luck next year and wherever you're at and what you choose. And you know, and my question to all the kids, and I always say, I'm sure you know what you want to do now that you're stepping into your next phase of your life. But you know, kids today, and I knew what I wanted to do from my junior year in high school, what I wanted to do. And even when you go to school, so many kids change their major, change what they want to do. But I have been one that have not wavered on what I wanted to do from you know, from my high school days. And I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I wanted to do and be able to be a part of these kids' lives, and hopefully have taught them a few things and along the way to help them in their endeavors.
Well, I know you say make them a better person, and a lot of your former players have followed in your footsteps. You've instilled that desire and that passion for the game into them, and several of them are on coaching, you know, other places. You got Schonauer over in was that
Paxton
Buck? Yeah, he's over there, and he's been successful and probably taking the same philosophies that he brought from Lincoln. And I mean, I'm sure there's others. That one there just pops in my head. Well, your grandkids want to do the same, and then you know your sons are coaching. It's just a love of the game, and I mean it's 24/7 basketball at their house. And after March Madness, it's just kind of like a bunch of zombies walking around because there's no basketball.
What are you doing this afternoon? You want to go to St. Louis?
Oh, you going down Missouri Valley tournament?
I may end up down there.
Well, yeah, there's you know, the Big Ten tournament got pushed up a week, and that's going on this weekend. And then you got Missouri Valley going on down there, and then yeah, I mean it's, you know, I guess it's like Christmas around the Alexander household with basketball. But
that time of year.
It is that time of year, but you know, it's just what it is. And there's always a winner and a loser. You hate to be on that losing side, but as you said, these kids, they put their heart out there. Now, have you had, I'm sure you have in the past, where you have 5 senior starters and you lose them all? Where,
you know, I've tried to think of that, and I don't recall ever having 5 of them as starters and so forth.
And that just kind of makes it a little more interesting next year, where you've got some kids moving up from the JV, which there's a big difference from JV ball to varsity ball as far as size, speed, and strength. And
every step you take from 6th grade to 7th, every step it's a whole lot different. And next year will be one of the years that we don't have any starters coming back.
Right.
We'll have a couple, 2 or 3 lettermen, but you have to look at the success that our underclass teams had. The sophomores group only lost 1. The freshman group only lost 4. And, again, the whole key to them is how are they going to mature in the next 6 months to be able to step up and be as physical as it'll take to play at the varsity level. I think that we're very skilled. We do have something that a lot of people don't have, and that's a 6'9" guy sitting in the middle, and we got a couple juniors that are got some size to them and to go along with a bunch of guards. But I hope some of those kids grow, or otherwise we're going to be smaller than we ever have, and I think we've been pretty small for years. But it's interesting to see how the kids mature and how they grow and what strength they're going to get, how much time they put into it. And this senior group has really, really put a lot of time in. We ask a lot of our kids. They respond, and I think they know how important basketball is to the people in Lincoln, and they're a part of it. The big part of it.
Well, Coach, you've been doing this for a while, and on the other side, we've had a guy broadcast the games for 17 years. Last night was Jeff Benjamin's last game as the voice of the Railers. I know you appreciate what he does year in, year out, and he's going to be missed. When you turn on 96.3 FM for a Railer game, that's the voice that you want to hear, and after 17 years, he's going to move on to other things. I'm sure the fire's still in there, but he's got other obligations and things that he wants to do. Any last words? I know you respect him as a person. And
we talked last night, and over the 17 years, I cannot ever recall that he didn't have I guess he kind of said it, and I don't remember it because I can't remember what happened. I do remember what happened last night, but a week ago, he said in his first one that one of his questions was, this team hurt our zone here and there, and he asked me if I ever thought about going to man-to-man. And
how dare him?
I just kind of looked at him, and since I believe it was about halfway through my years at Bushnell Prairie City, when I had a group with Robbie Lufane and Fred Servin and Jeff Miller and Neil Howard, Greg Beckman, and that group there, that's the year that they couldn't guard man on man. So I decided, let's give the ball press a chance. So back in the middle 80s is when I went to the ball press, and I have not ran one. We've matched up in the full court if we've had to deny or something, man to man, but never have we dropped back into a man to man defense. And a lot of wins later, that defense has been a staple of what I've done, and Coach Wallace taught me well. I enjoyed playing it, and that's one of the reasons I went back to it is as a senior in high school, I played for Lauren, and Coach Wallace taught me everything about it, and it was fun to play. We enjoyed trapping. We enjoyed doing the things that we had to do and so forth, and it just stuck with me, and we went to it, and that year we won a regional, and we won a lot of basketball games, and then the following year I moved to Lincoln, which Coach Wallace brought the ball press to Lincoln back in 1974, I believe, 74, 70, maybe 76. I think he was at Nokomis for 4 years, 72 to 76. So in 1976, he brought the ball press here, and I think it's been here ever since. So that's a lot of years and a lot of wins for the Lincoln Railers. And people would not know Lincoln basketball if they come out in a man-to-man.
What's that?
It'd be totally
people
different.
Don't know what man. Well, that's a big adjustment Bryson had at Blackburn. They played man-to-man, which he's used to.
For basketball people, your ball press is no more than man-to-man principles.
Right.
The only thing is you don't have to worry about where your man's at. You're always in a help position. You're always moving with the ball, but you don't have to worry about where a man's at. And people ask me, well, can your kids play man? And yeah, they can play man in college, and they've done it. I went and watched, and a lot of our guys, Gavin does a great job of playing man-to-man. I mean, he's always jumping off, giving help, taking charges, and doing a lot of different things. Greg had a great career and usually Drew, the best offensive perimeter player when he was at ISU, and all those guys, they survive, and a lot of it goes back to just hard work and understanding how to play. We do teach the angles that you have to be able to cut people off at, and it's a game that it comes down to just how hard you want to play and do the things, and one thing, when you go to the next level, you don't have to worry about, a coach doesn't have to worry about teaching our kids a different way to play man. When they get them, they're going to teach them how to play the man, and it's a shortcut for them because they don't have any bad habits to break and everything. So, we just kind of think that our kids can play and do the things that they have to do.
Jake, you got anything? Closing remarks?
No.
Anything?
No,
Back to Jeff.
Yeah,
we kind of got off on him. I know I'm taking a lot of time this morning, but
we appreciate that.
It's our last, maybe our last day here. But Jeff again never asked me a bad question or try to put me on the spot. He was always respectful of how we played, and he was just very positive person about everything that went on, and I want to feel that our basketball team plays with class. They play hard. They play to win or lose. We're class about what we do, and I think he has done that for 17 years on being the voice of the Railers. And again, he is going to be missed, and I don't know if he's listening, but we love him for that, and everything. So he'll be a very, very important part of the history of Lincoln Railer basketball.
Well, I thought you guys did a nice tribute to him our last home game. I know he appreciates it. It was something unexpected, so I know he appreciates that. And, you guys did a great thing to honor him, 17 years of service on the radio. And it's a tough thing to do, when you're traveling and you give up a lot of your weekends.
It's a long winter. I mean, and you think about it, mostly every Friday, Saturday night here, I got this, you're pretty well stuck. And it's just like what I'm thinking when I'm done coaching. What am I going to do on Friday and Saturday nights? I mean, for, 42 years of coaching, 15, 16, 17 years of playing, my whole life has been tied down to Friday and Saturday nights, Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays.
Yeah, that's how things operate. It's not a holiday at our house, and until basketball starts. That means Thanksgiving's here, and then when Christmas is here, that means Collinsville tournament. And it's just all ties in.
There might become a time where Denise finds out she don't like me.
I think she already figured that out, but she's keeping you around.
I was going to say, not to change subject, but there is a big ball game tomorrow that you can participate in.
Yeah, I tried to recruit him last week, and he said no.
Hey, I quit at 35. I'm a little bit smarter than some of these guys that try
I think we did too, and that's going to be the problem. Good point.
Yeah,
I would be scared that I would.
Well, you would outplay us. That's for darn sure.
No.
Well, Coach, it's just one of those Saturdays that we've had many of year in, year out. Depressing, but on the same hand, if you look back at the season, there's nothing to be ashamed of.
These kids got to be proud.
Yeah.
I mean, 25 wins.
And the defensive, record that they set. And
the defense was. Well, I enjoy the defensive side of the ball. I really like to coach a defense, and it was as good as we've had. It ranks up there with the best, and we just want to say thank you, seniors, and hopefully they taught our young kids how to play hard, how to be strong, and how to do things, and that's what it's about. Is our first meeting, I guess more or less threaten our seniors that their job is not to intimidate the freshmen, but to take care of the younger kids. You teach them how to do things. You don't intimidate them, so they follow you into the next years are coming, and that's why we have I like young kids on the roster to be able to see and be able to be around seniors for the leadership that we need to have to make us a good basketball program. And I feel that a good program is a program that consistently wins, not one that'll win 25 this year and win 4 or 5 next year. And
right.
We try to rely on consistency, and I foresee that down the road is continuing to be very, very good basketball for the Lincoln fans and Railer Nation.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, we had a freshman advance in a 3-point contest, so Railers are still represented, and he's going to move on and shoot at Eisenhower next Friday. Is that correct?
No, he's got a Friday night. He'll be at
right.
Oh yeah, he'll be next Friday night at Eisenhower. They do it different, and
it used to be you shot every round, but now
the 3-point thing is really hard. There's going to be a point in time where we're going to have to look at that. One of the reasons, I don't know, I can't put the finger on it, but we had to leave at 4 o'clock yesterday, and we had our kids down there a little before 5 because the 3-point shootout was at 5:30. So our varsity guys are sitting around. So we're going to have to evaluate whether that's the right way to do it, whether we need to send our 4 shooters ahead of time. But that's something for us to think about on what we want to do. So, but it is tough when we were down there at 5 o'clock, and that's exactly what Lanphier did. They sent their shooters over, and then their team didn't get there till 6 o'clock. So they were there a shorter period of time. I don't know if we got stale. There's a lot of things you can think about, but bottom dollar is Lanphier was better than Lincoln last night, and that's hard for me to say, but
don't say
it. They were pretty good.
Last night they were better. Now play them again could be.
I think the defenses were identical. They just made a few more plays, and
All right, Coach. Well, cheer up. The sun's shining. It's supposed to be a nice day today. Find Denise something nice here. Walk through here and fill up a shopping cart full of stuff and move on. That's going to do.
Go home, watch the Cardinal baseball.
Yeah. Well, this is our last time we're going to talk this year. We'll see you in November. Unless you just want to come on randomly. I mean,
I was going to say the summer camps and everything will be coming up.
Summer camps.
That stuff.
You still coaching track?
No.
Oh
no.
Okay.
And that's kind of hard because I did enjoy it. It was a different season. If there had been about a month break, it'd been a great thing. But to jump from going from basketball since 1st of November right into track, and that was hard. You were kind of like, oh, give me a breather. So we did that. But Jake said that, our applications will be online on RailerBasketball.com for our camps, and we'll be getting stuff out and so forth. And but they can go there and get an application that they can print off and look at the dates and so forth. And we'll get that up and running here pretty quick now that the season's over. And that's something that'll be done next week. So it's really unbelievable. We're starting to talk about summer programs already. So, like I said, it never ends, and it's a year-round thing. And we got kids that are going to go to spring sports, and once they get done with that, we'll be back with summer basketball here before you know it.
Yep.
Sweet.
Moving right along.
All right, we need to take a commercial break. We come back. We're going to talk some baseball, some NFL draft, and I do believe we're going to have Christy Fruge come on towards the end of the program to talk about the D.A.R.E fundraiser coming up tomorrow, or the comical relief, however you want to look at it.
However you want to see it.
Stay tuned. You're in the Cheap Seats on 96.3 FM.
I'm gonna pop some tags. Only got $20 in my pocket.
You gonna pop some tags today?
Oh, yeah.
This is being awesome.
We are popping tags at the Hangar Thrift Store and the Witz Boutique.
Yeah.
Scott
Nice
Kirby,
crowd in
Jake
here.
Johnston with you this morning. Grand opening up here downtown Lincoln, historic downtown Lincoln. Got the fellows coming in after us. Jim and Jeff, number 2, will be on for, it's yet to be determined.
Yeah. Steady flow of traffic coming in.
Yeah.
And I think a while ago there was probably about 60 people in here.
Well, there was a line at the checkout.
Yeah.
You know, they've got some grocery carts here you can push around, and
Yeah, I've seen some cute little benches and whatnot going out, and little accent tables, and just lots of whatnots.
But have we seen? Do they have a vignette? Joe's wanting to know. Do they have a vignette?
Well, yeah, they have some vignettes set up in here. Look at that right in front of you. What do you think that is?
Oh, that's a vignette.
There you
go.
go.
A vignette of plates.
Accessory type pieces, yes.
Jake, you wanted to talk some baseball. Baseball right around the corner. You know, spring training going on now. There's been some talk.
Come back on, Coach, if you want to talk some baseball with us.
Nah, he's a Cardinal fan. He don't want to talk baseball.
He does want to talk some baseball.
But, you know, right now there's some rules changes that have taken place. Some other rule changes may happen later on. Just one off the top of my head is the visits to the mound. They're going to eliminate those.
I tell you that I've been watching some spring training, just anything to help my appetite with seeing some baseball. And I was watching a Yankee game the other day, and I don't think the umpires understand the new rule on that yet. So they're still trying to figure out there was one, for instance, that looked like the shortstop on the ball's being thrown around and the infield after a play in the outfield, and the shortstop walked halfway to the mound and started talking to the pitcher while he's walking to the mound, and they called it they called it as a mound visit. So that was it for that inning.
Yeah, well, there's going to be other teams pushing that envelope, trying to find a loophole.
Yeah,
and
you can't blame them, but at the same time, it's for trying to speed up the game.
Yeah, it is, but it also takes away from a lot of the strategy of the game.
Correct.
Where, now for instance, we got Yu Darvish as a pitcher, and we got Wilson Contreras as a catcher.
Nothing can go wrong there.
Well, I mean, there's a language barrier right there.
There is?
Well, yeah, there's a pretty big language.
So because one speaks Spanish and the other
speaks Japanese. Yeah.
Huh.
So, I mean,
that's interesting. Okay. I don't know. I thought they were similar.
To us, they are, because I mean,
we don't understand.
We don't speak English. We don't know what you're saying. But it's going to be interesting. And then another thing on the table is.
Do you think on that subject? Do you think maybe they'll just use? I don't know. Come up with some generic hand signals.
Yeah. Well, another conversation that's being taken place is, with this day and age, do you put microphones and earpieces in helmets and stuff like that where they can communicate? Is there going to be some kind of electronical device? Because a thing in today's game, Jake, that people don't know is sign stealing. That's taken that's an art, and that's something that's happening, and they're not trying to cover it up.
I don't think. Well, and I don't know, but I would, if I was a general manager or a team manager, I would definitely be completely against that. I mean, can you imagine if your pitcher's out there and you have random scouts in the stands that can read signs or whatnot and kind of figure out what's going on the field? maybe former organization, maybe a former player from the other organization or whatnot that got cut earlier this year that has went through, knows the majority of the signals. I mean, they could be reading into the pitcher, hey, steal's on. That kind of scenario could play out, and you'd hate to see that happen and change the game in that way.
Another thing you want to talk about was some expansions, maybe adding a team or two to the MLB.
I would think there'd have to be a little bit of talk with it. With the players' organization probably needs to be involved a little bit more to hear a little bit more. I believe that it's gotten a lot more interesting with the expansion of the playoff system. Way more interesting for a lot of different teams and communities. They can focus on their team a little bit longer now because they're still in it.
Right.
And with that being said, look at all the free agents that are still out there that are top quality players. I mean, you could put a starting lineup together that would probably rival most teams in baseball right now. I would say it would be a playoff team with just the free agents.
Oh, so you don't think it would be watered down?
I think for a short period of time it could be watered down, but not really. Not with how many free agents are out there right now.
And then with all the talent from international teams, Japan, Dominican.
And I tell you, they're pitchers, and that's why you're seeing so many pitchers that are still free agents. There's more and more young guys throwing 100. And when you got that, if you can get him a slightest amount of control with an extra pitch, now he's your top line starter.
Well, there's some pitchers unsigned right now that would, if you put all those together, that would be one of the best pitching staffs in baseball.
Absolutely.
Like you said.
And even some relievers. They got some top quality relievers still out there.
That aren't signed.
That are
sitting home right now.
Yep.
Doing, I don't want to say doing nothing.
Maybe doing the laundry, dishes.
Taking the kids to school. Fixing supper.
That's what it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. So you're wanting, how many teams do you think? One, two? You'd have to add now.
You could go
that
with
kind of.
I think you could go with one. You could do two. I would go with just one.
Doesn't that kind of offset how divisions are set up? You'd
have to do two because of the playing schedule. So you'd have to do two teams.
So you
could throw do an LA and Las Vegas maybe, or maybe a Portland and Las Vegas. Maybe
how about getting another
Oklahoma?
team up in Canada?
Maybe Montreal. Bring the Expos back.
Look at all the talent that came from that
team. Oh wow.
That club right there, the Montreal Expos. All the talent, and they couldn't afford to keep them around. If they had that money to keep, your Randy Johnsons, your Vladimir Guerrero, Tim Ray. Obviously that's over a pretty big span, but just the talent alone
in the United States, but also Toronto that has a team. There's no team hurting for money right now,
right?
With the TV contracts and whatnot. And I tell you what, all baseball's thriving, right? They're really expanding with the way they're doing their ballparks and everything else. It is a big money making business. I would say rivaling football and maybe even exceeding football because of the season. So it's a thought that has been brought up and something I've been thinking about, and I think that'd be a pretty cool thing for baseball right now. It'd be the best time to talk about it.
All right, Jake, let's take another commercial break. We come back, we'll have D.A.R.E. Officer Christy Fruge on with us. She's going to talk about tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, tomorrow.
That's tomorrow?
That is tomorrow. So
did we get a practice in?
I don't. We can have a little shoot around.
Something.
Stay tuned. You're in the cheap seats on 96.3 FM.
Another dollar?
$1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I figure if you 5 or 6 times and you finally make it, then your pizza only costs $5 or $6.
$5 or $6.
Not bad.
Absolutely. 45-minute halftime. Oh.
To recover, to ice up. We're going to need an ice bath and ibuprofen.
Masseuse on hand and
that's
chiropractor.
That's probably one of the things Monday morning. Might be a lot of call-offs. I don't know.
Well, lucky me, I'm off Monday morning.
You plan?
I've been training though.
Well, you guys are probably in shape a lot more than us guys. Because
the random pullovers from the police. I heard they had to they tell the people, well, if you get out of your car and you can beat me to the end of the road here, you're out of the ticket.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of foot races here lately.
But a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
So
We're really fast.
they're really fast.
And tall. That's
And
what I like
they
to
have a
hear.
dog.
Well,
Also really
I have
fast.
a dog. But tomorrow at 5 p.m. at WOB,
Right.
A D.A.R.E fundraiser. All proceeds go to local D.A.R.E.
Right.
And just explain a little bit what the program does for the community.
Oh, we do so much. An officer gets into every school every day, and that really helps the kids to look at us in a different light. They're not looking at us like, oh yeah, you're the bad guy that pulled my dad over or whatever, you know. They have a better relationship with us. I write checks weekly to help people with, getting their kids a baseball uniform they can't afford, or helping a kid go to camp. You know, once in a lifetime I got chosen to go to this camp, but the parents can't afford it, so, you know, I'll help out. So all of the money stays local. All of our money goes back to our local kids. So, and I've, pride myself on, getting as much money as I can and giving as much money as I can.
It's a big deal.
It is,
I mean,
yeah.
you think of how you can change a kid's perspective on, change it on life, really, even.
Yeah.
Just by a simple act as if sending him to a camp that he thought he had no chance of
Right,
going to or
right.
something. So
And I get it. I have kids that are in all kinds of sports, and it does. It gets
And we
costly,
take
yeah.
things for granted where, we can send our kids to these things.
Right.
But other families out there, these kids want to go, but they just can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's when you step in.
Yeah, and I always tell people I'm always looking for, new things to donate money to, and there's a lot of new events in town that kids are getting involved in. There's a lot of kids that don't like sports, but they really like hunting. Well, that's great, I'd rather
dance or
go and do something like that. If you can't afford it, call me. I'll help you out.
Now, how many fundraisers typically do you do a year, or does it just kind of depend?
It really does depend. I have the golf outing every summer, and that's probably our biggest fundraiser.
And that's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but that day it's like total relaxation. Go out and golf, and I've already had people calling me going, "Hey, can I sponsor this? Can I do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, but slow down. Let me get through this basketball game before we start the golf outing thing."
All right, well, that's something maybe we can participate in.
Well, one half the cheap seats did last year.
Well, where was I?
We don't know, but Joe and I played.
Maybe you
had
weren't
a good
invited.
time.
Yeah, where was I? We didn't make the buddy list that week.
Well, maybe this year you could have 2 teams.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, see?
Yes.
See? And then there could be a little side betting on the
wagering
side,
going on
who's going to come in best.
Well, you just like to stir the pot.
I
don't
really
you?
do. I really do.
I mean,
Maybe who gets to buy the brats at the beginning of the tournament?
well, I'm in for that.
We provide lunch for the golf outing and dinner. We always have a lot of good prizes, and it's
absolutely, it's a
good
great
time.
cause.
Yeah.
Well, Christy, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Rest up tonight. Rest up.
I'm pretty good at
Lots
doing
of
that.
stretching and
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have a shoot around or something.
sleep in your oxygen tank.
Oh yeah. Will there be
Bring it with you tomorrow.
And they'll probably need to get one. That's going to be.
If we start to run down, we'll just call a timeout, go to the bake sale, load up on sugar.
I was going to say, how many timeouts are we given?
I think it should be
I feel like the girls should. And is there just tag in, tag out, or do we actually have to report in and out?
We have to check in. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like for our team, it should be just tag in.
Tag in or drag off, drag on.
Drag off, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So, yeah.
If you drag off, somebody automatically goes in.
Yeah. So, well, it's going to be
I feel like
fun.
at some point we're going to end up with all 10 of us on the court, and
I was
still
coming
gonna be kicking us.
into this thinking, well, it's a fundraiser. We're playing against WLB. But these girls are obviously.
And I came into this thinking, we need to dominate these kids.
Okay.
I don't want them scoring more than 10 points.
Is there
total?
Is there a foul limit?
No, there's no foul limit.
All right.
Is there a foul limit for the girls?
Yes, there's foul limits for the
I
girls.
feel like this is one-sided.
I do. Well,
Absolutely.
That's what we're trying to do here.
It's a fundraiser.
It is a fundraiser. It is. Well, maybe we should do like a mulligan type thing. We can buy more fouls.
There you go.
Buy more fouls, and that money can.
And a timeout or two.
And then if people in the stands feel like we need a timeout, then they can throw in.
We do have some secret strategy going on as well that could advance our
we do, because I feel like
winning.
all of your team needs to know your secrets.
No,
yeah,
I don't think they do.
I heard of that.
Oh no, you've heard of this.
Oh, I have.
I think Lloyd brought it up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we do have a play.
Oh, okay.
It could last a quarter.
And we can tell you off air.
All right,
it's a
perfect.
fourth
Can't tell you on air
only
because there
type
might be
thing.
some of those little pesky WLB girls listening.
I
Yeah.
tell you what.
And if you are, you're going down tomorrow. Because I heard you've been trash talking.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty pumped.
That's pumped. Well, so are we, and it's going to be fun. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, come out to WLB at 5 o'clock.
If nothing else, then watch us pass out on the floor.
If you know CPR, please come.
Yep.
Bring your defibrillators.
Yeah. That's going to do it for the cheap seats, but be sure to stick around because the big dogs are coming on next. Jeff number 2 and Jim Ash.
Oh.
Thanks for tuning in. We are downtown Lincoln at the Hangar Thrift Store and the Witz Boutique. From 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's their grand opening. You can follow them on Facebook at Witz Boutique. Other than that, that's going to do it for us, Jake. Next week, we'll probably be somewhere. We're at Jake's. We're at the Jake's. So thanks for tuning in. Once again, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, come watch us along with some the police officers. We're going to be out throwing down some hoops.
Yep.
So thanks for tuning in.
Good day.